skydiving is relatively safe. Actually, when you look at the numbers, it's much safer than driving a car. You know, I think there's a statistic where they said at one point it was safer than flying commercial.
How did you get into skydiving?
My parents took me to the tunnel probably 4 different times. When we went to Vegas when I was like 9, they dropped me off there at the tunnel 3 days or so in a row. They just left me there. So I got pretty comfortable in the tunnel at a young age. And then when I was like 16, to an iFly in Kansas City, and it was just natural to me. The flying was natural. And I always wanted to skydive, but I wasn't old enough at the time. And then when I was old enough, COVID hit and everything. And then 2023, me and my buddy, I was like, you know what? I want to go skydiving. I've never been. I was 21. I was like, we're doing it. Signed up. I went in Missouri. And then as soon as I got down, I was like, how do I do this on my own? And I signed up for a first jump course.
Did you feel scared for your first jump?
Yeah, I was scared for sure. My buddy, we were in a 182, so he went first. Watching him leave, I was like, oh my gosh. But I knew if he did it, I could do it. I would say I was more scared that I wasn't in control. I feel like it wasn't really the height thing for me because it didn't really bother me being high up there. Is more just like I'm not in control and I'm jumping out of the plane. You know, I've never done that before. It's more just of like the whole experience in itself. It was nerve-wracking because it's new. It's something you haven't done before. I feel like I get nervous with a lot of new things, you know.
What's the biggest challenge you faced when you just started skydiving?
The biggest challenge I'd say was like fear and performance anxiety. I feel like I had a lot of performance anxiety during the schooling for skydiving. I did IAD, and I feel like you start 4,000 feet. It's lower to the ground than you're used to. You're hanging onto the plane. The whole thing there was kind of nerve-wracking at first. I feel like most of it was performance-based. I wasn't really as scared of doing the actual act of skydiving itself. I was excited for that. It was the climbing out on the wing or just getting to the next step that I was nervous for because I wanted to succeed.
Have you ever had a frightening moment in the sky?
I actually just had a frightening moment in the sky. We got pretty close on a track and jump there. That was close. Other than that, I haven't had too many like real scary moments in the sky. I haven't seen a cutaway in the sky personally yet, knock on wood. I've witnessed something from the ground that was pretty scary. Frog's death. He was a tandem instructor from Texas, and we were in Lost Prairie, Montana boogie just in August, a couple months ago. And he was on a big way filming outside video, and somebody came in from behind and hit him in the head, and it broke his neck, and he opened AAD, but he was already pronounced dead. So we saw that from the ground. That was the most terrifying thing, I'd say.
Man, I feel so sorry for him.
It was tragic for sure, an accident.
How many jumps have you got right now?
I have 259.
How many years have you been jumping?
I've been jumping, my first jump was August 6th of 2023, so just over 2 years.
After 2 years of skydiving and so many jumps, how do you feel before each jump?
Sometimes I do get nervous when I'm trying new things. For example, night jumps, doing night jumps at first, I would get nervous. Any real new jump, if I'm jumping with more experienced people, I get nervous because I don't want to mess it up. When I did the Mr. Bill with Chad and I was holding on to him and we left the plane, that was nerve-wracking because there's a lot that can go wrong there. So only in specific settings I get nervous, just new stuff. Stuff that I'm not comfortable with already.
So what's your overall perspective on fear? Do you think it's something negative or it's something can be useful?
I think fear can be used to get you just about anywhere you want to go. I feel like if you can overcome your fear, then you can do anything you want to in life. I feel like everything that prevents people from getting where they want to be is fear. I feel like that's kind of the basis for failure, is letting your fear overcome you.
how has skydiving changed your life?
Skydiving has changed my life in more ways than I can even talk about. You know, it takes up all my free time on the weekends. I've met more friends in skydiving than I've met in probably high school and college, at my work. I've met more friends skydiving. I got friends all over the country that I can talk to now or just ask about. They're very open. It's an open community. Changed my life also in a sense that I am more willing to try new things, go out and do more stuff. I got into base jumping too because of skydiving. It allowed me to do that. And it allowed me to travel to Idaho, Texas, all over really. I can jump anywhere. So I feel like it's opened a lot of doors for me in terms of what I can do with it.
Do you think facing fears in the sky has shaped the way you deal with challenges on the ground?
Yes, 100%. I would say the biggest thing I noticed once I started skydiving was when I would go back to work. And I used to, not enjoy working. I was a server and I don't do that anymore. But whenever I was, it was just like I dreaded going to work. But whenever I would skydive the day of or the weekend before, when I'm at work, it just didn't bother me being there. I was like, okay, like I'll enjoy this because I get to have the opportunity to skydive on the weekends. Like a lot of people, like everyone I'm talking to, when I'm serving, most of them have never experienced jumping out of an airplane.
Right.
I'm grateful and lucky enough that I get to do it whenever I want, just about. So I feel like it's very much opened my eyes in terms of, I don't know, how grateful I am for the ability to do it. More patient. I'd say even in relationships, like with my girlfriend, like we'll get in fights and stuff, and like little things might upset her. They don't bother me anymore because I do stuff that could be a lot more detrimental to my life and to the overall outcome of how I live versus, like a minor inconvenience in the day.
What's the biggest misconception people have about skydiving?
I'd say the biggest misconception that I've seen and witnessed is people just think that it's super dangerous. Like people are like, oh my gosh, I would never jump out of an airplane. It's too dangerous, all this stuff. Or they're scared of heights. I think it's all under the it's too dangerous category. I'd say that's the biggest misconception. Skydiving is relatively safe. Actually, when you look at the numbers, it's much safer than driving a car. I think there's a statistic where they said at one point it was safer than flying commercial. We had 4.5 million skydives last year and 9 people died. Now if you go look at the car crashes, I mean, it's a lot worse. The most dangerous part about skydiving is driving to the drop zone.
Do you believe our lives are in God's hands?
Yes. I'm a faithful person. I don't know if you are, if anyone
Me
else
too.
watching this. Like another thing I really believe in is faith over fear. So it really doesn't matter how hard you try to stay alive, I guess, or keep yourself as safe as possible. If God has a plan for you and that plan ends, tomorrow, then your plan ends tomorrow. There's nothing you can do about it. So how I look at it is you're given every day. Every day you wake up is a new blessing. You've been blessed to live and breathe another day. I just want to take advantage of that as much as I can because God gave me the chance to live, and there's a lot of people that don't have the physical capabilities. They weren't born with the ability to skydive, whether it be like something physical or mental holding them back. So I feel like, yeah, for sure, I think God has control over that, 100%. I pray every time I get on the plane before it takes off. If anything happens to me, Lord forbid, I just make everything right. I feel like you can only be as safe as you can be, but, if God has a plan, then God has a plan.
As a skydiving coach, what would you say to someone who wants to try skydiving but feels scared?
I've tried to get so many people to skydive because they're scared. I would say, there's a lot of things that are scary, but not a lot of things can get you where skydiving can get you. So it's kind of like a risk to reward. The slight risk of jumping out of a plane will reward you with adrenaline, you know, more friends, all these positive things, better mentality. I feel like I'm mentally healthier skydiving, you know. I feel like I'm happier all the time because I skydive, you know. It's just like a serotonin release almost. It just makes you happy. So I would say if you're scared to skydive, just get over your fear and jump out of the plane.